Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome. It is time for talking some reality TV, some Survivor, some challenge here on Rotogrinders.com. Dan Bach alongside Tony Niehaus and the chopper of heads, David Kaplan. What's going on, fellas? Mr. Tuttle couldn't make it today. So who's going to have the spoilers, Tony? Did you dig into the Reddit for us on this Wednesday here,
Tony? On this three-man panel, you're like a minus 500 favorite to have the spoilers for us, because I know Chop didn't look and I know I didn't look. So you're the odds-on favorite to bring us home with the spoilers, because I know you love to cheat. I mean, last time I was on a show with you, you cried the whole show like, oh, I don't know, I don't ever win, I don't look, you guys cheat, and then you won like $800 that night. So
that wasn't a bad night, but
oh yeah,
but it also just goes to show, at least I show up and play, unlike you, who not only missed the show, which I understand, like you had a golf, tea time. Would I rather be golfing than do this show? Honestly, yeah, I probably would. But there's no excuse for not entering your freaking lineup. That's
I
a whole
wanted to
different
too.
story.
That was not intentional. I wanted to be in. I completely forgot about it.
What do you mean completely forgot? Like, it's
I had
Wednesday.
a busy day. What do you mean? I was busy.
I had a busy day. Like,
when you're out there spraying the ball left and right all day, it gets in your head a little bit. I mean, it wasn't good out there.
I only texted you about 5 times that day about trying to deposit money on a sports book. So I know that, like, you were around.
Yeah, I was going to different states to try to make some money.
Well, unfortunately, I don't know. You probably would have lost anyway, because you would have picked 2 or 3 guys from Edge of Extinction.
I definitely would have lost last week. That's correct.
For sure. I did all right last week. I said on this show, I thought Sophie had the chance of going home, and she did. But
because you read the spoilers. What do you mean?
I didn't.
Said she could. Like, of course she said she's going to go home.
No, I did
It's
not.
easy when you know she's going to go home.
The only spoilers that I look at, I told you, are the videos on
I don't
CBS.
believe you.
You don't believe me?
No. Chop, do you believe him?
No.
Yeah, see? Neither one of us believe you.
Well, it's hard for me to trust any of you guys these days, man. Tuttle's out there. I don't know who Tuttle. Tuttle must have like a line to Jeff Probst or something, because he knows every single thing that's about to happen on Survivor. BigT just predicted, just stumbles upon the nut team in the challenge 2 weeks ago.
Here we go. Oh.
Yeah, you weren't even there to defend yourself last week.
What was Chop saying? I can't wait to hear what he was. Somehow I win 1 week and I was cheating. I literally said it on the show that day what I was going to do. Even
it was the perfect team. That's all I can say.
I mean, it's a little
how
bit.
How can I have the perfect team when I picked the guy that went home?
Well, here's the problem, Tony. Is you ended up apparently calling Tuttle asking for advice.
That's not even what happened.
That's what he said
happened.
Made
stuff up.
That he said that you called him up and said, "What do you think's going to happen here tonight?" Basically, going to the spoiler king. And if you went to Tuttle, that means you probably went to somebody else as well. No.
Nope.
Hey, this is what happens, Big T, when you don't show up for
they make stuff up.
You got to defend yourself. I
expected the freaking my partner, the chopper, to defend me, and it sounds like
it's so tough for me to defend when I'm looking at that team and I'm going, damn, that's perfect.
I had the guy that went home.
How did you get it that perfect? How did you get it that perfect?
But you also had the guy who won the challenge.
His name was on the title of the show. Like where it says the caption, his name
sounds like somebody's doing some spoilers there, looking at titles of shows.
Looking at the TV guide is a freaking spoiler. I'm coming for you guys tonight.
And honestly, though, that's why I don't like playing the challenge. Is you can easily make everything out by looking at the coming up next week's. Because they basically show you like who's pressing the button when something explodes. It's just a matter of like freeze framing it and checking it out. There's usually not too many spoilers for Survivor, but challenge, I can't do it.
Freeze framing it? You're freeze framing things now?
If I had $100 of HeadChopper's money on the line, I absolutely would. No doubt.
A lot of effort.
It's all coming clear.
A lot of effort. All right. Last week, let's recap that episode. It was basically all Tony. And not Big T, Crazy Tony on the island. And man, I mean, the dude, the word on the street is that he's going to win. And after watching that episode, you can kind of see why, because pretty ballsy move by Tony last week, taking out Sophie. Didn't see it coming.
He's just sitting so good. Like he's one of my favorites, and he's just sitting perfect. Now they're showing it on like the clip for this week. He's hiding in a tree or something, like spying down. I mean, this guy, he's playing the game. Yeah, I definitely think he's got a good chance to win, him and Sarah.
Between that and he's got how many fire tokens now? Like he paid 6. He paid 6 to be able to play for the advantage. Chopper, what'd you think of that? Like, let's talk about that whole situation here first, because when they said that he needed to come up with 6 fire tokens, I was like, there's no way in hell he's going to be able to find 6 fire tokens, because again, he only had, I think, 2 at the time, or maybe 3. So are you surprised all these people gave him fire tokens?
Not really. Not really surprised. He seems to be playing both sides pretty good. So I'm not really surprised he was able to scrounge that up. But I mean, clearly this guy's in the driver's seat. So I think the momentum shifted in this game about 2 weeks ago. The writing was on the wall, and now it just kind of hitting us like a ton of bricks. This guy's going to win the whole thing.
But he's also should have like the giant target on him now. And I don't know that he does, unless he just keeps on winning immunities, because after that last move, why wouldn't
he keep finding idols? He's hiding in trees and stuff. He keeps finding idols. There's only 8 left? 8 left and 1 coming back?
It's easy for us to sit here and say he's the guy who spearheads it all. It's clear as day. But to them out there on that island at that time, like, it's not like, I don't think
they knew he orchestrated that thing last night.
He also absolutely 100% saved Jeremy's ass and made Jeremy know I saved your ass. Jeremy's going back now. Oh, this guy saved my ass. So he's also playing it real well like that. So if you're going to make the move, get your votes in order, man. Get everything in order and let the right people know that I'm making this move for you. And so he did that. So that's why he's sitting in such good shape.
He's in good shape, but if I'm on Sarah's side, I'd be like, screw this. I'm going to just get rid of this guy entirely. I don't know that she's going to do that. She's probably going to go back to the cops are us, and they'll buddy up again after coming to blows a little bit after they come back from that tribal. But I don't understand why Sarah could trust him after he has screwed her numerous times in this game over the years. This isn't like the first time it's happened. So why does she keep trusting this guy? I don't understand that.
I don't think she's got any votes. She wouldn't have enough votes even if she did, right?
I mean, she'd have to align with like Kim and Denise in that group, but what do they
I think that's all there is that's in that group. So I think he played it perfectly. Like, he doesn't make that move if he's not looking a week ahead and saying, you know what, if these people are mad at me, I can still, I got Jeremy in my back pocket now because I saved his ass, and I know I've got this guy in my back pocket. So yeah, he played it really well.
So the one thing they didn't show that I'm super curious of, so he got all those fire tokens so he could play. He gets immunity, gets 2 more fire tokens after he won. Do we think that he actually gave those fire tokens back to any of the people who gave him a token so he could actually play?
I think he did.
He almost had to, right? Like,
but who gets screwed? Like, who doesn't get paid back?
Did he give 3 out? Or he got 3?
Ben gave him, Nick gave him, and Jeremy gave him. So he got 3 fire tokens from 3 different people.
And he only got 2 back?
And he got 2 back. So that means one of those 3 is not going to be paid back. I probably think it's Jeremy simply because he's kind of in desperation mode. But that's one of the things I wish they would show. Like, how does that encounter go? Like, clearly all 3 of those people probably went up to him and said, hey, man, you won. Can I get my fire token back? Right? Like, wouldn't you say that? I gave you the opportunity to get immunity here and have a vote. Can I get my token back? And they don't show that stuff. It pisses me off.
Hey, now the show's so quick for only 1 a week. They don't show near as much as they could.
Yeah. Did you, Tony? You said before the show you did not like this extortion thing.
I didn't like it. Like, so now Natalie gets 6 tokens if she wants, and like that's got to be a pretty big advantage on extinction. So, and she didn't like. I don't know. Why is it 6? Like all these other things have been 1 or 2 tokens, and all of a sudden this one's 6. I get it because he didn't have 6, so they needed to get him to where he's got to work for it. But so what happened if he didn't get it?
He wouldn't have been able to play, and he wouldn't have been able to vote in the next.
Which I hate too. Like, I don't know. I just don't like it. Like, I want them just to play. I don't want all these idols and all. I want them have to play the social game, and I don't like all these gimmicks.
I didn't hate it as much as you did. I think it actually finally, gave these fire tokens kind of made that a little bit interesting, because I thought to this point the fire tokens kind of been meh, but at least it kind of served a purpose here. Would have been more interesting if he didn't get the 6 tokens and then he basically has 0 power in the game whatsoever.
Yeah.
He doesn't have immunity. He doesn't have a vote. So that would have been more fun for me if that would have actually happened, but it didn't. So the name of this episode is Friendly Fire. And I guess I got a spoiler because I looked at the TV guide there.
Oh, I thought we weren't allowed to look at the TV guide, you said. I mean, when it comes to the challenge, you're not allowed to, but when DB looks, it's allowed.
Edge of Extinction is going to have some sort of challenge to it. I don't think it's to come back.
They're going to make me kick another guy on Extinction?
I mean, I'm just telling you. I don't think it's to come back into the game. I think it's to get fire tokens. So I'm guessing it's something like the log challenge where they got to do something all day long and just like get 2 fire tokens at the end of it. So, Tony, I mean, this is your week to be picking all those guys from Extinction again.
So the problem now is, though, there's how many? There's 2, 4. There's like 11 on Extinction. So there's way more on Extinction. So what do they get if they find or if they win because it says bequeath a fire token? Does that mean win it too? So they get 7.2 points if they win a fire token.
They get yes, they get is that an advantage in the game? I'm trying to look.
No, it's fire token. It looks
like. No, it says contestants bequeath. That's different than winning a fire token.
Does it say win a fire token on there?
It says contestant finds or buys an advantage in the game. I believe that would quantify as somebody winning fire tokens. Do you agree with that, Chop? Do you think that's accurate?
I think that might be accurate.
Because that's going to matter here. Because it might actually, if this is a challenge where everybody has a chance to get fire tokens, then you have to believe that there could be a good, those are worth 5 points apiece. You could have a couple of 5-pointers there on Extinction Island.
Do you think they could get multiple too?
I think the most you can get is 5. Like, I don't think each one is worth 5. I think
we talk about this every week with like a different part of it.
Will it be a real challenge though?
Well, again, is it going to be
a real challenge? Then will FanDuel subjectively score it as a reward win plus getting some fire tokens?
Yeah,
I don't think it's a reward win.
You don't think it's a real challenge? Like everybody line up and.
Well, I don't know, because the only time they've done that on Extinction is when they came back into the game. The other times where they've had the ability for the only other one that I think is similar to what we're going to see, and again, this is just a guess, is when they're like, okay, you've got to carry all these logs, and then once you do that for the next 10 hours, you get your 2 fire tokens. I think that is going to be. Because they said in the preview, it's like a physical challenge or something like that is the way that they positioned it.
Well, it's those guys over there are interesting if you think that they're going to get some points somehow this week, because I mean, you at this point you want to get Tony on your roster, and they got him all the way up to $35.
You have to play Tony, right? Like he's going to get so many interviews.
Yeah, I think so too. You kind of like to avoid a guy like Nick, who you look at his average in this game is only 6.5 points anyway. Like he's not doing anything unless he wins a challenge, which he hasn't shown he's going to do. So you want to avoid the lower tier. Like you don't have to have these $18, $20 players who are still in the game who aren't going to get you nothing but the 1 5-point bonus or whatever for surviving for the week. If you think a guy like Boston Rob is going to come out here and grab a couple fire tokens and maybe get a couple confessionals or whatever that is, he could outscore them. So it's an interesting week to think about that.
Yeah, I think
you guys are trying to rope-a-dope me here again to take
get in there. You should do 3 of them.
You guys are rope-a-doping me.
Okay, here's the synopsis. Alliances may crumble after a tribal blindside, which we saw. And an undercover operation escalates to new heights. That's Tony climbing in a freaking tree. And also there's another brutal challenge on edge of extinction. There you go. That's what you got. And I've seen no video at all about the edge, brutal challenge. So
the topper though is we've been picking 5 every week, right? Now we pick 4.
Well, that if you showed up last week and actually
was it 4 last week?
It was 4. You would have known that.
Yeah. So it's one less person though. So man, it's even tougher to play someone on extinction when there's only 4.
Well, that's the whole thing too. Is like you've got to count on getting those tokens, or winning that challenge, or however they do it. But Tony,
if you only give 5 points though, that's just as much as Nick making it through the week, right?
Yeah,
and that was the thing about like last week, like Nick and Michelle, they didn't like do one on-screen like confessional the entire time. Like they had like 0 points going into the final immunity, the final tribal council, which is just absurd. Like the entire episode was based around Tony, and that's like all they talked to throughout the entire episode. So it was kind of funny.
He just kept stacking points.
He just kept stacking points.
I'm still tilted from the family week when they didn't give Rob and Amber hardly any airtime, even though they brought the kids out. Like
such a wonderful thing. Such a wonderful thing. I loved it.
You loved that week too.
Loved it.
I mean, you didn't love it in that pre-show when you lost that Hundy stick about it.
I did not, but you know what? That was made up for it, to say the very least, after that. So do we think we play Tony and the captain again, or because I think that's the question here, because he's the most expensive. They kind of priced it up.
He's not going to win immunity again, right?
So. He might though. Like it wouldn't surprise me. He's been dominant this whole time, and like all these other people who are left on the island, they're not that good at challenges anyway. I mean, Jeremy just quit last episode. Like he was right there at the very end and came down.
What was that? It looked like he did it on purpose.
I don't know. So
yeah, I don't think I can pick Tony, but he's definitely just because of the airtime, you got to think he's going to get. I mean, what does he get every time he comes on? 1.2.
Yeah, and he's going to get
1.8.
Yeah, and that is something that you see multiple times. See, here's the deal: like if you play him in the captain, then you can, let's see, you can still play everybody who's not on extinction, but I don't know if that's the play this week. And I might.
It's tough because you're going to have to play Nick, and you're probably going to have to play Michelle.
Yeah, basically the lineup is Tony, Nick, Denise, Michelle. Like those are the 4 people. And honestly, I don't know that. I mean, I think, like, who do you think's going home this episode? I think it's
that's the hard part.
I think
who's Shop? Who you think's going?
I mean, just based on the way the voting went last week and the way Tony's playing this game, oh man, I'm gonna say Kim, because I thought Kim would go home last week, and so I think she's at the top of the list, and I don't know if he would come back and get Jeremy this quick after having Jeremy on his. Now Jeremy's on his side now. Sarah may be a little bit too powerful to vote off right now, so I'll say Kim is in a pretty bad spot.
Yeah, Tuttle in our chat said Jeremy or Kim, and I actually think it's however Tony wants to play it here. Like I think if he wants to get Sarah back as an ally, he's going to vote Jeremy out, and that's going to be like, hey. You know what? Whoever you want, let's take him out. If it's Jeremy, fine. because eventually he wants Jeremy out. It's not like Jeremy's good to take to the end. He knows that. So it might be Jeremy this week, the more I think about it.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely not going to be Tony. It's definitely not going to be Sarah. Definitely not going to be Nick or Ben. Probably not Denise. I mean, you're really down to Jeremy and Kim and maybe Michelle, but she's still got the 50-50, right?
Yeah, they don't want to get like Michelle again.
Got to be Jeremy or Kim. Like it has to be.
It's
like 100% has to be.
I think it's. I'm changing my vote. I think it's Jeremy this week. I think Tony realizes he's better to have Sarah as an ally right now, and he needs to show something after last week. He totally screwed her game, admittedly, which was. Here's the other thing too, though, is Sophie had an idol, so that means there's going to be another idol put into play here. So,
which Tony's got a good chance at finding that too,
and he's already got one in his back pocket.
And he constantly looks like. I don't know why Sophie announced it. She shouldn't have announced it.
That was just a complete and utter blindside. Those are the best ones.
Oh,
those are the absolute best when she literally had no idea that was happening.
I can't believe
that was so much better. That was so much better than that garbage 2 weeks ago with everybody running around the freaking tribal council area. Like that I said it last week. I think it's total trash and so much better than with what we saw last week where Tony waited literally until it seemed like 5 minutes before tribal council and said, do this, do this, do this. And they all did it and somebody's blindsided. So much better. So much better.
I'm so tilted right now because I'm going to play someone on Extinction again. You guys talk me into it every freaking week.
That's making me not want to play somebody on Extinction.
I don't see any way to do it. Like, you can't play Michelle and Nick. You're not going to win playing Michelle and Nick. They're not going to do anything. They're going to get 5 points.
Well, I last week did not play Tony in the captain in the MVP. I put him as just a regular guy. And I did that because, well, we're playing in a little league and how many people are going to have Tony. I trying to be a little bit different. And we're still going for a GPP thing.
You're playing game theory here, Chopper.
Yeah,
you got to. Like, and then you look and you see he's 60% owned in the captain in our league. So, it's the right move is to be a little bit different and then hope you stumble upon something. So this week, it's even more shapes up. Like if you're playing Tony in the MVP and you're not playing an Extinction Island, you have the choices are so limited. You've got to play Nick. That person has to play Nick. So those are going to be a very similar builds. Whoever plays that stuff.
You almost have to. I think you have to play Michelle too. I think you have to play both of them.
I think you do, and then it boils down: do you want to play Ben, Sarah, Jeremy, Kim, or Denise?
You can't play Michelle and Nick though. Like that's terrible. I think.
Yeah, that's exactly what.
Unless they somehow bank the immunity somehow, then they're in play.
I mean, what they really need to do is looking at the scoring here. They just need to have a bunch of confessionals and stuff, and who knows if that's going to happen? Because at 1.8, like we're pretty sure they're not going home, so they get those 5 points guaranteed.
Yeah.
There's going to be a bunch of confessionals from Edge. You got to think with this challenge. Yeah. So it's kind of figuring out who that person is who wins, or if there's multiple people who win.
You think it's going to be multiple though, right?
It could be. I don't know. I think it's not an impossibility.
Yep. I'm on board. I think I'm going with an Extinction Island person.
Who do we go from Extinction though is the next question because there's 11 people on Extinction now.
I mean, I'm going back to my faves who I think are there's good players in the game. Boston Rob is top of the list for me.
I always take him and he literally never scores for me.
Actually, I mean, he's like on average, he's like 2 points worse than Nick. And he's been on Extinction Island Island this whole time.
Yeah.
I mean, if we just get a little just get a fire token out of him and you'll be in pretty good shape. Or you can go like who else? I mean, Natalie's pretty good at this game. Or
what about her coins? Does she get anything for those tokens if she buys something or gives them? Or
I don't. Well, here's the question: the one thing maybe she could get would be trying to see if there's Contest, is there contest plays an advantage? Okay. Contest finds or buys an advantage in the game.
There you go.
Maybe she can use her tokens in this.
What does it give her?
It gives her 5 points. But again, we're also speculating that whoever wins these fire tokens will also get those 5 points. So I don't know. Like, you're gonna buy an advantage to give you an advantage to potentially win an advantage. I don't know, man.
Sophie might be an interesting pick too, just because she's going to get at least the intro interview because of the blind side, so she could get a few points.
Well, let's get to the end of the episode here real quick. If Jeremy gets voted out, does he have any fire tokens left? I know he gave one to Tony.
Jeremy's got one left.
He's got one left. If he would
so now you're talking. I forgot about that. I'm glad you just said this.
Because at the end of last episode, Sophie gave some to, I believe it was, who did Sophie give it to? Sarah and
Kim, wasn't it?
Kim? Kim's got 3 tokens.
Yeah. So who might get the tokens at the end of the episode? Like, if Kim would leave, she's giving them to Denise for sure.
And you get 7 per token, right?
I think you get, is it 7 per? I think it's just 7, period. I don't think it's per token. I'm pretty sure about that.
Either way, 7 is a boatload.
7's a huge number. Like, that's going to swing the end of this episode, is who's going to get those tokens.
So does Nick get them from anybody? Does he get them from Jeremy or Kim?
Maybe Jeremy, definitely not Kim. Maybe Jeremy, definitely not Kim.
So
Michelle, maybe.
I need to rewatch last week's because I forget who was even voting with who.
Denise, I feel like might get some. Kim and Sarah are not together. Jeremy and Kim are not together. Nobody likes Ben. Maybe that's the play. Is like,
man, Nick's gonna end up with the fire tokens.
Starting to think about
not
playing the Edge of Extinction people here.
I completely forgot about either Jeremy. Jeremy could give it to Tony even.
He could, but
unless Tony's the one that ships him packing. But like, who's Jeremy's number one right
now? Probably Michelle, because remember, he pulled Michelle and Jeremy in with Nick and Tony. Those were the 4 last week. So if Jeremy would go, he's not really with Nick, but
who did you just say? Who was the 4?
Tony, Michelle, Nick, and Jeremy were the 4. And that was enough to vote out Sophie.
Okay. Man.
Got your head spinning here, don't I? Big
I forgot all about that part. That's why I never win at this thing. I forgot about that strategy. I got to get off my extinction player now, I think.
No, you don't. Just play Boston Rob again. Just do it.
He never scores for me either. I always play him because I'm always like, he's going to get interviews, and then he doesn't even get interviews.
Yeah. Fire token bequeathing, especially if Kim's got 3.
She's got 3.
That's some points to hand out there, boys.
And you know it's not going to Tony for sure.
Didn't you just say her number 1 is Denise?
Yeah.
So she'd give it
to
Denise.
Denise, it has to be a good play then.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the whole point of extinction is you want to avoid Nick and Michelle on the same team as Tony.
But if you think Jeremy's going to go, I don't think it's an impossibility that Michelle or Nick get that 7 points.
You could play one of them. I just don't like if you're playing Tony, he's a lock. Then you're forced into Michelle and Nick on the same team with those 3. Now you've only got one different person. So I think you choose one of those and not play them. Play the other one, whoever you think is going to get some fire tokens if they do. And then you just try to be a little bit different with your last 2 spots.
Chop's going to Edge. Chop is let it be known he's going to Edge this week. I kind of like it.
When you play with it though, like you can't physically. If you play Tony, you can't get 2 other good people without an Edge. Like you have to play Michelle and Nick.
You have to play Michelle and Nick. You have to.
Yeah, and that's just terrible.
So you're gonna have like all.
They
these
did a good job with
rosters,
pricing.
Just one person different.
Yeah, last week they didn't do a good job of pricing it. That's why everyone could play Tony. But
they had to calculate this exactly. Like if they play Tony, then they got to play these two scrubs. Like it. I can't imagine a team with Michelle and Nick being the winner.
It's going to boil down to how this edge works, though, because if everybody can win that advantage, if everybody can win those fire tokens, whatever they are, there's a lot of points over there. But if only 1 out of 11 can win it,
that's
your odds of picking that are tough. Like, it's
unless they all get one.
But that's the whole thing. I don't know. I don't know the nature of that challenge at all.
You would think they'd all get one. With 11 of them, like, I don't think they'd have one winner for one token. It sounds like
one token. It might be for 3 tokens. Who knows? It might be the first 3 winners, the first 3 to complete the challenge get fire tokens.
I hope Chop takes Boston Rob. I don't want to take Boston Rob.
I can't wait to see these lineups when they lock later today. All right. Let's switch quickly over to the challenge. I'm not in.
Tuttle. Where's Tuttle at? I want to call him out about this challenge. That's bullcrap. He was talking in chat too during this show.
So you're telling me that you did not field a phone call to Tuttle?
I called him, but we were just talking about it. We were talking about. I didn't say, "Can you give me the spoilers?" We were talking about what we thought was gonna. I'm the one that said the strategy.
Hold on. You called him to talk about what was going to happen. You just said that, right?
I literally.
And what is Tuttle known for?
Survivor stuff.
Oh, no, you got my number. Why didn't you call me, Big T?
Because you always finish last, and then you won.
You called Tuttle because you know he knows what's going to happen before it actually happens. That's why you called him.
I'm the one that had the strategy. I said, whoever you think's going in, you play. That was my strategy.
And you knew that it was.
I knew Jay was going in,
and yet you had Bailey and Swaggy C as well on your team too.
Because of the kissing, the bed, the romance.
Oh, so it had nothing to do that they were actually going to win and be in that tribunal. That had nothing to do with it.
Tuttle didn't tell you the whole thing. That's what.
So Tuttle did give you a tip. Is that what?
No, I told him you got to have one couple in there. You either had to have Bear and whatever the lady's name is, or Swaggy and Bailey.
Wow. Well,
I wish Tuttle was on here because that's terrible.
It's a little bit suspicious, but that was 2 weeks ago. I don't know. Did you guys? You obviously didn't play last week because Tony just could not enter a lineup and multitask in a given day.
I'm getting in this week. I hope Chop's got it out
there.
We're back to a guys challenge this week though, so we gotta pick the guys again.
I mean, they're not going to put Jay in again for a third time, right?
I guarantee they're putting Jay in again.
Jay's going in.
He's going to keep going in over and over and over and over. He's going in, right, Chop?
Yeah, he's going in.
Yeah. So we got to pick him again, right? Like that strategy is the right strategy, right?
Not unless he loses, then it's
if he loses, he loses. Like that's just the chance you take.
What do you mean? Like you got lucky that he won last week.
You have to get lucky to win, though. Like
it's not Jay. 2 weeks ago, when it was a guys' challenge, Jay wasn't the tipping point. Everybody played Jay because the freaking title of the show said.
I thought we weren't allowed to look at the titles. So now you both said you looked at it. DB said he looked, and now you said you looked.
That was the easy play. It's that he didn't swing it, so he's not going to swing it this week.
The best part about you guys saying I did that, you guys all played him in the captain, and I didn't.
I didn't even play, so don't involve me in this discussion at all.
I was like the only one that didn't have him in the MVP. I had the guy that went home in the MVP, and somehow I was the one that looked at spoilers.
We need to move on from that because my blood's starting to boil, Big T. My blood's starting to boil again, and I thought I was over it now. Come on, man. Let's move on. I don't want to rehash you playing Bailey. Playing Bailey.
So who's the couple you're playing this week, T?
I'm playing Bear and whatever that chick's name is.
Oh.
He's going to be on the workbench, I'm sure.
Imagine. Do you see what with that fire extinguisher last week? Like that?
Yeah.
Crazy, man.
What a donkey.
Just such a weirdo, man. Just
Who do we think is going to knock out Jay if Jay goes in?
Rogan?
You know, I don't know. Here's one thing that I'm a little bit like what was it? I guess it was 2 weeks ago when Jay went in. There was a guy's challenge. I'm a little bit like thrown back. Johnny Bananas was fighting going in so much against Jay. Like, you know, he was so happy when West didn't say his name at that vote. You know, you remember that 2 weeks ago?
Yeah.
The guy, like, he was so opposed to going in that week. Why is he so opposed to going? Like, now's the time you want to go in if you're a guy. I would want to get thrown in now while there's at least some guys still out there that are kind of not good competitors. If you wait a few more weeks and then you got to go in against Jordan or, you know, Corey or somebody really, I would want to get my red.
That's what CT did. That's why he went.
Yes, I would want to get my red fire thing, whatever
Skull.
I would want, Red Skull. I would want to get that ASAP while they're still weak competitors, and he fought it so much. Like, no, I don't want to go in, and so he was so happy when he didn't have to go in. So yeah, I think he's not going.
You don't want to go in first though. You want to go in second when you know who you're going against.
Who cares? You know you're going to get somebody weak. You're going to get. There's more of a chance you get somebody weak
if you
right
get
now.
the right tribal and they try to, like, if Bananas was in there and you had that tribal, they could have put they could have put CT or someone in there against him.
Did they already? Well,
when
I would want to go against CT. I would want to go against Jay. I would want to go against maybe Swaggy C. I don't think we've really seen enough out of. I would want to do
You're
this
hating
now.
on Swaggy.
I'm not hating on him. All I'm saying
Swaggy's
is
terrible. Come on, don't give me
all
this.
I'm saying
Swaggy is a beast.
If you wait about
no. You got the wrong guy.
Swaggy's going in my MVP tonight.
Fessy is a beast.
Fessy is a monster.
Fessy is a beast.
I would if you wait about 3 more challenges and then you're left with all these studs, man, then there is no way out. Then your Red Skull is going to be incredibly difficult to get. So I'd want to go in early. I don't know why he fought it so much. That tells me he has no interest in going in anytime soon. So I think you mark him off the list. And that probably marks Wes off the list because Wes is his boy. So now you're left with Jordan. Looks like he really wants to go in. So maybe it's Jordan against Jay.
I'm not sure if you watched next week on the challenge, and it's like a wrestling challenge. And I think somebody's arm gets busted because they're like, "Oh, look at his arm!"
Tonight there's a wrestling challenge.
Yeah, I think like the at the very end or whatever it is, like what is it called? The elimination.
Oh, in the eliminations of wrestling?
Yes.
Oh, so Jay's definitely not winning.
Some sort of like wrestling type of challenge. Or like you have to like catch the other guy and tackle him, or there's some sort of like one-on-one combat.
Jay's gonna get destroyed then.
I know, and they always you never trust
man.
the edit, but they're like, "Oh, look at his arm." So I'm wondering if somebody
to trust the edit, but
is there points for if somebody gets hurt? Like if somebody gets hurt, do they?
Yeah, if they get DQ'd, I think they lose.
He's not getting hurt. They leading you on there, DB. These challenge spoilers, you gotta be careful with them.
So says a word that gets censored is 0.7. I'm looking at. I mean, that's actually kind of a lot here. Verbal. I'm just trying to see if there's other categories here that we can, gather some points on. Yeah.
I mean, you want the workbench time and you want the drama.
Contestant shown working out, 1 point.
What?
Did they add some things here, Chop? Were these always in here?
I've never even looked at the scoring.
Yeah, I mean, definitely contestant hooks up. I'm pretty sure Bear and Kayla get it on this.
Yeah,
week.
This is the week Bear hooks up for sure.
So that's 1.5 points right there.
And he always has a chance to win the challenge too. Like,
yeah,
I'm picking Swaggy.
Oh. I might have to get in this 3-man.
Don't say I cheated when I got Swaggy in there.
You're gonna play Swaggy C.
He's in there.
Terrible. It's just oh man, so bad.
I'm picking Swaggy. I'm picking Bear. I'm picking not Johnny. I agree with Chop. I'm not picking Johnny this week. Not picking Wes.
You're not gonna pick Jay? You said you got to take Jay. He's got to take.
You just told me it's a wrestling challenge.
I don't know. It's what I saw.
I'm definitely not picking him if it's a wrestling challenge.
Okay.
He's going against all monsters.
You gotta feel. You gotta feel for the guy. The dude is just like survived.
Imagine
the
Fessy
first
going in against Jay.
or Rogan, dude. Like
challenge.
that guy, like just absolutely destroy him. So I don't know. All right, we are. Our time is up here. We got to get on out of here.
Is anyone picking Big T?
I mean, I wasn't gonna make reference to Big T, but
I'm surprised you didn't have your picture behind you.
I mean, the best thing is that somebody actually
there it is, the quick trigger with the Big T behind
you know, apparently Big T was trending the other day or last week during the episode, like on Twitter, and somebody tweeted and said they thought something bad happened to you, and then they realized it was the other Big T. But,
it got so much traction on there too.
She's a whopping $14 for you.
What? The next women's challenge, she's got to be going out. She's due to go.
That's going to be your week to shine right there.
There you go. There you go. All right, we got to get out of here. Thanks for watching. Maybe Tuttle will be back with us next week with more spoilers. We'll see. Maybe this we'll do pretty well without his spoilers, or maybe we'll do worse. We'll see. But check it out. FanDuel's got some games. I know DraftKings has some free stuff as well. And we'll talk to you next week here on Rotogrinders.com. Stay safe, everybody. See you.